and I'm no different. I'm Quartz Quartermuncher, and there's about 1,000 of these little Pokemon critters. I'm going through several Pokemon games in order to catch them all. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee was a test of patience that I played all the way from Pallet Town to Mewtwo, and that was it. About 77 out of the original 150 Pokemon were caught and then sent to Pokemon Home. So what happens when I take this effort and apply it to an actual normal Pokemon game? Pokemon Let's Go Eevee is a remake of Generation 1, the very first couple Pokemon games, with a focus on Pokemon Go instead. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, on the other hand, are just simple remakes of Generation 4's Diamond and Pearl. They're traditional Pokemon games with just a new coat of paint, nothing changed in combat or anything else, but my goal here is to catch as many Pokemon as possible, especially the legendaries. With that said, this is the Quartermuncher experience. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were announced on February 2021 during the Pokemon 25th Anniversary Nintendo Direct, and then released the following November. Instead of being handled by Game Freak, ILCA, short for I Love Computer Art, the company known for developing Pokemon Home, developed this game instead, breaking the usual tradition. They did so in record time, taking only 1.5 years from start to release. This being a Pokemon game, the story is the same as the others. Your Pokemon journey starts in some podunk town, you get a starter from your professor, you conquer 8 gyms so you can go ahead and conquer the Pokemon League, but before you do that, there's a team of ruffians, in this case Team Galactic, who want to do some nonsense with the legendary on the cover to take over the Pokemon world. Nothing to write home about. However, the enjoyment of every Pokemon game is how you choose to accomplish this. You take your starter Pokemon into a field of grass, you enter combat, and then from there you have several options. You can utilize your Pokemon's main utility, which is going to be its attack to whittle down their HP, or you can straight up start throwing Pokeballs at the Pokemon to catch them. If they have low HP, you've got higher odds of catching them to have them join your team. Otherwise, if they have low HP, you might kill them off and gain EXP so your Pokemon can level up. You travel from route to city, taking a Pokemon journey one step at a time. The continent of Sinnoh is based off the Japanese island of Hokkaido. As such, it's not too different from other Pokemon locations such as Kanto or Hoenn, or presumably any other Pokemon game they make from now in the future. You start off in a small village, you meet your professor, you pick your fire, water, or grass starter, you go on your first route and meet your marsupial bird Pokemon before you get to the first gym, beat him, get a badge, fight some Pokemon Galactic goons, all the way from the rank and file to the top brass. That's a Pokemon game. The most notable change in the remake is the graphical style. ILCA created a 3D version of a 2D game. It's an update to the classic, but the chibi style is initially a bit off-putting. During the climactic battle with Team Galactic's leader Cyrus, he goes from non-threatening chibi avatar to his in-battle regular-sized self, and he looks more a bit of threatening that way. A more consistent art style would get me to take such a guy a bit more seriously. So after taking out Cyrus, catching Dialga, the cover legendary, collecting all 8 badges, conquering Victory Road, and then following that the Pokemon League, you think we would be done, correct? Not here, where the name of the game is Gotta Catch 'Em All. There's about 1,000 Pokemon in total these days, and Let's Go, the first attempt, would only cover about 150 of those at most, which I captured about 77 according to Pokemon Home. Given my dislike for that, I actually enjoyed playing Brilliant Diamond for knowing what it was, an average vanilla Pokemon game. The Pokédex here expands to 493 across generations 1 through 4. Once you've either caught or seen all 150 of those Pokemon and beaten the game, you can talk to Professor Oak, who upgrades your Pokédex to the Mashal Dex, so you can catch the remaining 343 of those Pokemon. This also opens up Ramanas Park, which is a giant catching ground for legendaries, which we will get to later. One place I've been avoiding this whole playthrough is called the Grand Underground. With the national decks, this place became a buffet for gonna catch them all. You could catch a lot of that 343 remaining Pokemon there, if not evolve them if you choose to. Not only can you catch a lot of Pokemon here, but we also have to dig for a lot of mysterious shards. There's a number of them within the walls, but you only have about a 15% chance of getting one, so this took quite some time. With these mysterious shards, you sell them for slates at Ramanas Park, and from there you use those slates to catch legendaries. To dig in the ground underground, you find these golden sparks on the wall, you go up to them, you initiate a minigame that involves you taking a hammer or a pickaxe to a giant grid of rocks, and you hope for the best. Sometimes you get shards, sometimes you get other things that aren't shards. I'm down here for one reason, just for these mysterious shards, and with 15% odds, my odds aren't great. So why did I spend so much time grinding for shards down in the ground underground? Well, it's because that's the only currency Ramanas Park will take for their slates, and we need these slates to catch legendaries. Since legendaries may or may not be in any of the future Pokemon games, we probably want to catch as many as we can now. So it's pretty simple just to buy a slate, put it in the slot, find a Pokemon, throw the Pokeball, catch it, and repeat until I've caught them all. Alright, it's time for the best and worst of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. For me, the best part was catching the cover legendary. I'm something of a collector, hence the name Gonna Catch 'Em All. And getting the one that's on the cover is, the entire point of a trophy collection for me. It's a trophy, there it is, voila. The worst was the numbers of grinding in the Grand Underground. Mysterious Shards had about a spawn rate of 15% per dig, and then you add on to that needing about 36 of them to catch the legendary dogs, the Reggies, Giratina, Ho-Oh, and the Generation 3 trio as well. I did sign up for it with the name Gonna Catch Them All, but that's also on top of the legendary decks unlocking a lot of Pokemon there as well. In total, I've caught just shy of 300 out of 1,000 Pokemon. Out of, 2 out of 5 games looks more like 2 to be 6 games. That means I'm about a third of the way done, and it's all about the big picture and focusing on the next few games. With evolving some of the Pokemon I've caught here and creating the living decks, that will definitely catch me up to a lot of that big 1,000. Next up is Pokemon Legends Arceus, during which I'll start that living Pokedex and see how that goes. By the numbers, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond took me 56 hours to catch about 275 Pokemon, give or take, just doing one version out of 2, and that's 4 generations in one, given this is a Pokemon Generation 4 remake. It is a not-so-crazy diamond that keeps shining on, though. I liked it. What more can I say? That was the Quartermuncher experience. Thanks for watching.